the Let's Master English podcast, and I'm your host, Coach Shane. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Let's Master English podcast. This is Coach Shane. This is the June 5th edition of the LME podcast, the Let's Master English Reboot. I want you guys to be checking out this podcast. Please recommend it to your friends. I want millions of people listening to this. I want to make this a regular podcast for you so you can learn lots of interesting English stuff with me, and we'll cover different subjects. So please, on iTunes or Spotify or wherever, please leave a recommendation. Give me 5 stars. Say how excellent the podcast is. Tell your friends. Share it, on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are. Please share it with your friends. I would sincerely appreciate that. And, of course, you can send me an email. You can email me. The easy email address is contact, C-O-N-T-A-C-T, contact at letsmasterenglish.com. Yeah. That's it. It's really easy. The more complicated email address that I actually see all the time, my staff checks out my email, but I usually see DailyDictationMembers at gmail.com. That's another good email address. So in this podcast, what are we going to do? Well, I've got a story. It's actually a British story, but of course with American accent. Yeah. There's a Country Shane fact. We got some extra words and stuff to learn. An excellent question. You know the phrase sort of, right? S-O-R-T-O-F, sort of. Did you know that there are 3 different ways to use that expression? Oh, yes. I'll teach you that. And then, of course, we have Today in History. We got some very interesting stuff that happened on June 5th. Some delicious stuff, too. And that is going to be it. So it's a tight podcast. Let's go ahead and get to the news. The UK is bracing for its warmest day of 2023 as temperatures are set to hit 26 degrees Celsius this Sunday, potentially surpassing Istanbul's heat. The current record for the year stands at 25.1 degrees Celsius, achieved in Porthmadog on Tuesday. This record may be eclipsed, with the dry weather expected to persist into next week. Meteorologist Rachel Ayers anticipates temperatures of 24 degrees Celsius or 25 degrees Celsius in some regions, with highs of 26 degrees Celsius in the west. However, the eastern coasts will be cooler, hovering around 15 degrees Celsius or 16 degrees Celsius. Both the north and south are forecasted to enjoy rising temperatures, possibly reaching 23 degrees Celsius in Glasgow. I thought this news was so funny. It's funny for many people. For many people, it's funny because if you understood the story, what it says is, now today is, June 5th, but yesterday was June 4th, Sunday, and this was a weather forecast for Sunday in the UK. And what it says was, oh my God, it's going to be super hot. It's going to be 26 degrees Celsius. Oh, I'm burning, I'm melting. Ah. And I think for most of the world, 26 degrees Celsius, it's not that hot. I have a feeling in some place like Sao Paulo, Brazil, right there in the hot area, maybe 26 degrees is actually kind of cold. You might need a long-sleeved shirt, maybe even a sweater. But in the UK, 26 degrees. Oh my God, my blood is boiling. Ah! So that's the story. I just thought it was funny. So let's go back and look at every sentence, and we got some great words here. The UK, United Kingdom, is bracing for. If you are bracing for something, you are preparing for something that's going to be very difficult or very unpleasant. Bracing for, getting ready for. It's not going to be good. Oh no, what are they getting ready for? It's warmest day of 2023. Dun, dun, dun. The hottest day so far of 2023. As temperatures are set to hit, as temperatures will probably reach 26 degrees Celsius this Sunday. Oh my God. Potentially, maybe, possibly surpassing, one word, surpassing, surpassing, exceeding, going beyond Istanbul's heat. Istanbul, the city in Turkey. Yeah, Istanbul. Is it? Oh my God, I feel like an idiot. I know Istanbul must be Turkey's biggest city. My question is Istanbul the capital? Let's see. Ankara. No, Ankara is the capital, right? I'm on ChatGPT. What is the capital of Turkey? Turkey. And the Turkey capital is Ankara. There you go. So what is the biggest city in Turkey? Istanbul. Okay, I'm right. See, I'm smart. I'm a genius. Yeah. I don't know why they're comparing UK temperatures with Istanbul, but they are. Anyway, it's going to be hotter in the UK than it is in Istanbul. Maybe. The story continues. The current record for the year, which means the hottest temperature so far for 2023, stands at 25.1 degrees Celsius. So the current record stands at. The current record is 25.1 degrees Celsius. Achieved in Porthmadog on Tuesday. Yeah, I never heard of Porthmadog. Let me ask ChatGPT. Porthmadog, Porth. I'm writing it here. Madog, Madog. Porthmadog. It is a city in Wales. It's a small town in Wales. It is situated on the western coast of Wales and is known for its beautiful scenery and proximity to the Snowdonia National Park. So there you go. So far, Porthmadog has the record temperature of 25.1 degrees Celsius in 2023. And that was on Tuesday. And by the way, I live in northern Vermont, right? And last Wednesday, was it Wednesday or Thursday? One of those days, we had 33 degrees Celsius. Okay? Insane. Today, right now, and this is 5 days later, it's 10 degrees Celsius. So huge difference. But anyway, the story continues. This record, the Porthmadog 25.1 degrees Celsius record, may be eclipsed. Oh, beautiful word, eclipsed. 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 Surpassed. Exceeded. This record may be surpassed. This record may be exceeded with the dry weather expected to persist, expected to continue into next week. So right now, as you know, in the UK, it rains a lot. Lots of rain, okay? And if you have lots of rain, that usually keeps temperatures cooler. But if it's very dry, temperatures can get hotter and hotter. So these days in the UK, they've had some very dry weather. And that means temperatures might get even hotter and hotter. So that's why they said this record of 25.1 degrees Celsius set in Porthmadog on Tuesday may be eclipsed, may be surpassed because of, with the dry weather expected to persist into next week. So from now into next week, that dry weather is expected to continue. Meteorologist, which is the official word for weatherman or weather woman. We don't say weather woman. Weather girl? No, that's bad. We do say weatherman, but meteorologist, that is the perfect word. Meteorologist Rachel Ayers, it's a woman, anticipates. She anticipates. She expects. She's predicting temperatures of 24 degrees Celsius or 25 degrees Celsius in some regions. In some areas of the UK, it'll be 24 or 25, with highs of 26 degrees Celsius in the west. In the western part of the UK, they could see temperatures as high as 26 degrees. However, the eastern coasts will be cooler, hovering around. Basically, the temperature is, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, hovering around 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. That sounds nice. So the west, it's going to be hot, 26. The east, it's going to be cool, 15 or 16. Both the north and south are forecasted, are expected, are anticipated to have, to enjoy, to expect, to experience rising temperatures, possibly reaching 23 degrees Celsius in Glasgow. Now, Glasgow is a big city in Scotland. It's up north, and 23 degrees in Glasgow is hot. They're going to die. They need air conditioning. Yeah, I don't know. So a couple of things about the weather. Number one, depending on where you live, 23 degrees, 24 degrees can be really, really hot. It can be, right? It can be. And also, 23 degrees and rainy and cloudy and 23 degrees dry sunshine, that can feel different too. So although I'm laughing at this story, oh my God, 26 degrees, that's not hot. But for the UK, for those people, it is hot. Now, if you go to like Saudi Arabia and you say 26 degrees, they're probably going to say, ooh, that's cold. Give me a sweater. Give me a jacket. Because they get 40 degrees, 45 degrees. Oh my God, it's insane, right? Yeah, for me, the other day, it was 33, and I was dying. It was absolutely horrible. It was terrible. And my air conditioning was broke. Can you believe that? And the guys that are coming to fix the air conditioning, they're coming tomorrow. And again, tomorrow, the temperature is going to be what is the forecast? I'm looking at the forecast right now. 13 degrees Celsius. I don't need air conditioning when it's 13. I need air conditioning when it's 33. Anyway, how are you doing? How's the temperature where you are? The other thing I wanted to say about weather and forecasting, why are they so terrible? Where I live, they're never right. They are never correct. Tomorrow will be sunshine and beautiful. It rains. Tomorrow, we're looking at a chance of rain and strong winds. Oh, we have strong winds, but no rain. It's crazy. I don't know. I think being a meteorologist, being a weatherman, is the only job you can have and always be wrong. Everything you do, everything you say is wrong, but you can still keep your job. I think it's the safest job. So if you know somebody who's always wrong, you should probably recommend that they become a weatherman or a meteorologist. All right. Words that we learned: bracing for, preparing for, gearing up for, surpassing, exceeding. The temperature stands at, the temperature is, right now, the temperature remains at. Eclipsed, surpassed. Persist, to continue, anticipates, expects, forecasts, predicts, hovering around, staying around, going back and forth, A-B, approximately. And to enjoy, in this case, actually means to experience. So temperatures, people will enjoy a temperature of 15 degrees. People will experience a temperature of 15 degrees. That's the idea. Okay? I'm going to read the story one more time. I hope that you understand it. I'll read it pretty fast. So good luck. Here we go. The UK is bracing for its warmest day of 2023 as temperatures are set to hit 26 degrees Celsius this Sunday, potentially surpassing Istanbul's heat. The current record for the year stands at 25.1 degrees Celsius, achieved in Porthmadog on Tuesday. This record may be eclipsed with the dry weather expected to persist into next week. Meteorologist Rachel Ayers anticipates temperatures of 24 degrees Celsius or 25 degrees Celsius in some regions, with highs of 26 degrees Celsius in the west. However, the eastern coasts will be cooler, hovering around 15 degrees Celsius or 16 degrees Celsius. Both the north and south are forecasted to enjoy rising temperatures, possibly reaching 23 degrees Celsius in Glasgow.
Where education and entertainment come together. Let's master English. Do it.
How you doing, everybody? This is Country Shane, and I'm bringing you the facts. Talking about the weather, the first long-range weather forecast was made for the London World's Fair in 1851 by British meteorologist George James Simmons. He predicted a dry day, but it ended up raining like cats and dogs. Weather forecasting has thankfully improved since then. Right, Coach Shane? Yeah, well, Country Shane, I'm not so sure if weather forecasting has improved that much. You guys tell me, does the meteorologist in your area do a good job? Or are they like always wrong? Are they always wrong? Yeah. Here's some weather words I thought that, we should know. And remember, right now, so for most of my listeners, actually, I shouldn't say that. I have got a lot of listeners in Brazil, particularly Brazil and Chile. And right now they're going through the winter months. Yeah, right now it's the winter, right? June of 2023 down there, below the equator, south of the equator, it's wintertime. But north of the equator, it's summertime. It's summertime. So I have some words that are going to be useful for all of us, whether you live in the north or the south, whether it's winter or it's summer. These are great words. Number one, drizzle. D-R-I-Z-Z-L-E. Drizzle, it's a very light rain that is smaller than your typical raindrops, right? And it almost seems as though the rain kind of floats in the air. The wind can easily push the drizzle. Drizzle. If it's drizzling outside, you don't necessarily need an umbrella as long as you run fast. I actually like drizzly weather. Number two, heat wave. This is a long period of really hot weather. And in some places, it can just be the whole summer. I used to live in Las Vegas, Nevada, which is in the desert of the United States. And I tell you what, from June until September, it's a heat wave. It is so hot every single day. You can't go out in the afternoon. It's like walking into an oven. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Where I live now, if we have a heat wave, usually it's like 3 or 4 days of really hot weather, and then it's okay. So that's perfect for a heat wave. Couple of days, really hot, and then nice and cool. Heat wave. Number 3, blizzard. Ooh, I like this. As long as I'm not driving. A blizzard, BLIZZARD. A severe snowstorm with high winds and low visibility. You can't see. That's why I say if you're driving in a blizzard, it's very, very dangerous. You have to go very slow. And usually you don't cause a problem. It's the other driver that causes the problem. So be careful. If you're in a blizzard, get off the road, far away from the road, and be safe. Number 4, this is a very important word, especially in the summer, humidity. 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 Humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air. So in the air, it's the air. Yeah, there's nothing in the air. But actually there is water in the air. And if there's a lot of water in the air, and if the temperature is hot, oh my God, it feels really hot. So on a very humid day, a humid, hot summer day, if you go outside for 1 minute, you sweat. You've got sweat everywhere. If it's a humid day and you take a can of Coca-Cola out of the refrigerator, in about 1 minute, the outside of the can is all water. It's water everywhere. That is a very humid day. So if it's really hot weather and really humid, it feels really terrible. If it's the same, let's say it's 33 degrees but dry, no humidity or very low humidity, it's actually not too bad. The sun is hot, but if you're in the shade where there's no sun, it's okay. But if it's 33 degrees and really high humidity, it's terrible. Yeah, so humidity can really affect the feeling of the temperature. In the winter too. If you have high humidity and a temperature of -5 degrees, it's super cold. But if you have very low humidity on a sunny day and it's -5 degrees, it's actually not that bad. Really, it's not. So humidity. And then number 5, another great word, frost, Frost. So for me right now, it's June 5th, and I need to start my vegetable garden. And in my vegetable garden, the most important vegetable, tomatoes. But tomatoes are very sensitive to cold weather. And where I live this week, there's actually a chance of frost. Do you know what frost is? Frost is when the temperature gets down to about 2 degrees Celsius, 1 degree Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius, -1, and a very tiny, thin layer of ice forms on the grass, even on the car windows. It looks like kind of like ice or kind of white. That's called frost. If tomato plants get any frost, they'll die. So right now, I'm still waiting to plant my tomato plants. And when am I going to do it? Next Saturday. Yep, next week Saturday, that will be my tomato planting day because I'm looking at my forecast right now. The forecast today right now, like I said, it's 10 degrees. Tomorrow it will be 13, Tuesday 13, Wednesday 11, Thursday 11, Friday 14, and then Saturday 20 degrees. Okay, so that's a good temperature. Tomatoes need warm temperatures, not that cold stuff. So there you go. 5 great weather words. Hopefully, do you know them? Did you know them? Hopefully 1 or 2 is new. Repeat after me. Drizzle, heat wave, blizzard, humidity, frost. Time for some questions and answers. We had a great question from Thomas the other day. Thomas is in my DDM VIP. He was in my Hangout. And in our assignment, we had the phrase sort of. SORTOF. And the way it was used was a bit confusing. And Thomas wasn't really sure what sort of means. And his question was so great because sort of can be used in 3 different situations. And number 1 is as a filler. And that was the situation in our assignment. Do you know what a filler is? I'll explain in a minute. Number 2, to mean a type of something, similar to something. And number 3, to mean in a way, or slightly, or a little. So sort of is a very versatile phrase. It can be used in many different ways in English. Let's go back. Number 1, as a filler, F-I-L-L-E-R. Fillers are words or phrases we use when we need more time to think about what we are going to say next. So my wife says to me, what do you want for dinner? Let's see, something, well, all of those words are filler words. It's just I'm saying something in order to give me time to think. None of those words mean anything. And we can use sort of like that. So here's an example. Hey, Shane, what are you thinking about doing today? Oh, I was, thinking about going to the gym today to exercise. This is another idea of a filler word. Number 2, sort of can mean a type or something similar. It can be used to express similarity or kind. So, for example, a dog is a sort of animal. An apple is a sort of fruit. There are many types of fruits. There are many types of animals, and a dog is one of them. A dog is a sort of animal. An apple is a sort of fruit. And number 3, to mean in a way or slightly or little. Sort of can be used to indicate something is partially true or not completely true. So, in other words, I sort of understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying a little, not completely, 60%. Right now, I'm sort of tired, but I can continue to work. I'm kind of tired. I'm a little tired, but I will still continue to work. I think for most of you, number 2 and number 3 are very common. That's how you probably understand, or if you see sort of, that's how you would understand it. But that first one as a filler, that's where it gets confusing, and that's the situation we had in our DDM assignment. So Thomas, thank you very much for the question. And now I hope everybody understands how to use sort of. Recognize it. It has 3 common, very possible usages. Today in history, June 5th. What happened today? Well, number 1, June 5th, 1964. The Beatles. It is Beatles Day. On this day in 1964, the Beatles went on their first world tour starting from Copenhagen, Denmark. Yeah. Do you have a favorite Beatles song? You know, for a lot of people, I think most people like the Beatles, but some people hate the Beatles. So if you hate them, oh, well, sorry. If you like the Beatles, what is your favorite Beatles song? For me, that's a tough one. When I'm 64 is great. Norwegian Wood is fantastic. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe Norwegian Wood. Maybe something else. I'll have to think about it. On June 5th, 1968, Robert F. Kennedy. That's John F. Kennedy's brother. Robert F. Kennedy, a U.S. senator, brother to President John F. Kennedy, was assassinated. He was shot in Los Angeles during his presidential campaign. Isn't that amazing? Two brothers killed. John F. Kennedy was president, and he was shot. And then his brother, trying again in 1968, he was shot and killed. On June 5th, 1981, the first recognized cases of AIDS are reported by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The epidemic has since led to significant advances in understanding and treating the disease. AIDS was so scary in the 1980s. Queen, the singer of Queen, Freddie Mercury, died of AIDS. We lost a lot of great people, but now they can treat it, and that's a really good thing. On June 5th, 2004, Ronald Reagan, the 40th president of the United States, passed away. He was president twice in 1981 and 1985. From 1981 to 1989. He was elected in 1980 and elected in 1984. And he's often remembered for his economic policies known as Reaganomics, the trickle-down economics. Let the rich keep their money because they will spend it and give it to the poor. That was the idea. As well as his role in ending the Cold War. Tear down these walls. Remember that? Between East Berlin and West Berlin. Wow. I remember those days. Very exciting, very amazing days. Yep, during the Reagan era. And finally, June 5th. Today is National Donut Day. Yeehaw! This is an annual celebration in the United States where many donut shops offer free donuts. So if you are living in the U.S., I want you to test this. Go to Dunkin' Donuts. Go to wherever you go to get your donuts and remind them, hey, today is National Donut Day. Can I get a free donut? Do it. Buy some coffee. See if you can get a free donut. I want to know if it works. This is in the United States. I don't know about in other countries. Do you have a favorite donut? Oh, boy, when I was young, my favorite donut was the raspberry jelly-filled donut. Oh, yes. Delicious. Now I don't eat donuts. I worry. If I ate a donut, I would probably look like a donut. And I don't want to look like a donut. That is Today in History, June 5th. That brings us to the end of our June 5th LME, Let's Master English podcast. We've tackled some interesting news from the world of weather. We've unpacked the versatile usage of sort of, and we've traveled back in time to learn about some major events that happened on June 5th. If you enjoyed today's podcast and you found it helpful for your English learning journey, I would love to hear from you. You can send me an email, contact@letsmasterenglish.com. Tell me what you think. You can ask me some questions. You can suggest some topics that you'd like me to cover. And once again, if you get it on iTunes or Spotify or wherever YouTube, Facebook, wherever you listen to this podcast, please leave a rating, 5 stars, say hi, and please recommend it to your friends. Please, I really want this to grow. So, like I said in the other podcast, yesterday's or the day before, I want to do this podcast, 3 or 4. Maybe even 5 times a week. 4 times a week would be great. I really want to do it 4 times a week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do that for June and July and maybe August. I'm going to go for 3 months, and I'm going to try really hard to do this podcast 3 or 4 times a week. Okay? But I need you. I need your numbers. I need you to be listening to me. And as long as you guys are listening to me and enjoying the podcast, then I'm going to keep on doing it. So it's really important. You guys are giving me the energy, right? Giving me the energy. Right now, you can join my lessons. I want that too. But right now, it's more important that you listen to this podcast and tell your friends. And I want it to grow. And if it does great, I'm going to be so happy. And I'll keep doing it for you. Absolutely. Again, remember, visit our website, letsmasterenglish.com. Free lessons, free VIP lessons, free live classes, my free newsletter. Please get that stuff. And if you want to join my courses, DDM is perfect for mastering your English listening, comprehension, and pronunciation. PIRF is perfect to improve your spoken American English. And LME 365 is a combination. To make sure you never miss an episode of the LME podcast, subscribe. Because like I said, I'll be back with more great ESL content and useful language learning tips. Until then, keep practicing, and together, let's master English.